Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be pulling a recipe from one of my favorite cookbooks called Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat by Samin Nosrat. She's amazing, I'll leave more details in the description. But today we're making a fresh ginger and molasses cake. Some ingredients you'll need to get started include 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, half a teaspoon of ground cloves, a quarter teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of neutral tasting oil, 1 cup of molasses, 2 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 large eggs at room temperature, 1 cup of boiling water, 1 cup of fresh ginger, 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Okay, let's get rolling. To get started, go ahead and cut out parchment paper for your cake tin. Like so. The next step is to prepare your ginger by peeling it. It can be tricky, so a pro tip is to use a spoon and it comes right off. No intricate knife work necessary to work quickly and safely. Next, slice a little bit and toss it into your blender cup or food processor and puree your ginger and sugar together until it's completely smooth. It'll take about 5 minutes. This mixture alone is so delicious and so creamy. This is the look that you're going for. It's smooth and creamy. Yum! What do you want, Freckles? No nap over here, just cake. We'll go a little up later though, okay? The next step is to pour the mixture into a medium bowl and add the oil and molasses. Whisk to combine and then just set it aside. Once it's really well combined, you can go ahead and start to prepare your boiling water. You only need 1 cup. Okay, now it's time to combine your dry ingredients. We're going to start off with flour. In my bowl, I have my little sifter. What we're going to want to do is we're going to sift the flour and all of the spices and dry ingredients. You could do this the traditional route, but I find that it makes a mess and it's kind of time consuming, so I have a little hack for you. If you go and you grab a whisk, not a spatula, but a whisk, you could actually just run it through your sifter so much faster. Okay, let's do the baking soda and the spices next. For the spices, I honestly just kind of eyeballed it. If you like yours a little bit more cinnamon-y, or if you like your cake a little bit more spicy, you can add more ginger or however much or as little as you like. You don't ever want to skip sifting if they tell you to sift because there's always little pieces that you miss. Now it's time to prepare your cake tin. I just sprayed mine with a little bit of olive oil and then coated it in flour and then tapped out the excess flour. But it's completely up to you. I found that with my second cake that just olive oil was completely fine. By now your boiling water should be ready, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it to the baking station. Whisk boiling water into the sugar oil mixture until evenly combined. When you first add the water to your batter, it will be sloshy because of the water is just sitting on top because of density. So start slow and start in the middle to prevent spilling and gradually pick up speed, gradually moving and mixing to the outer parts of the bowl. Next, you're going to make a little well in your flour mixture with your hands and then slowly add your wet mixture to your dry mixture and stir thoroughly. Same technique, work on the inside, then move to the outside, like so. By starting in the middle with each stir, the wet mixture will pick up some of the flour mixture and incorporate it into the batter evenly. Whew, I had to roll my sleeves up for this one. The batter will gradually get pretty thick, but it is a thinner cake batter than your typical cake batter, I suppose. Careful not to overmix. You'll know when you're done when you get this smooth, velvety texture and everything is well combined. Next, go ahead and add your 2 room temperature eggs and mix them until well combined as well. I just moved it back to this bowl for an easy pour. This cake recipe is perfect for 2 9-inch cake tins. I only have one, so I'll do one at a time. But go ahead and pour your batter halfway. Don't forget to tap. The tapping helps to knock out all of the air pockets and air bubbles that are in your batter. And at 350 degrees for 30 minutes, she's ready to go. Note, if you put both cakes in at the same time, your time will range from 38 minutes to 40 minutes. While the cake is in the oven, it's the perfect time to relax and go over key baking tips to become a better baker. Most find that baking can be quite challenging, but it's a chemistry, which is my favorite part. It's important to read over the recipe at least twice before beginning to ensure that you have everything that you'll need and you know all of the steps. Also follow measurements exactly and level out your measuring tools. The order and the baking procedure is just as important. Writing out the actions taken in a recipe help me stay organized and not miss anything, like adding a wet mixture to a dry mixture, or vice versa. Paying attention to the little details helps achieve the texture and flavor you're striving for. Sometimes it can be challenging when you're not organized. Laying out all of your ingredients and measurement tools in the beginning and putting each item away after use is what I find is the best method to guarantee that you don't miss a crucial ingredient, like baking soda. Lastly, have fun and make mistakes. Everyone has a baking fail at one time or another. Experiment and just try your best. Looks like the cake is almost ready. Hey Freckles, is the cake ready? I don't think she's too interested. Okay, I'm just gonna plop out this cake and let it cool, and I'm gonna reuse the pan and even the little parchment paper because I'm super lazy, and I'm going to prepare it for the second cake. Again, don't forget to tap. Tap, tap, tap. And in the oven she goes. While that cake is in the oven, let's prepare an icing. For this part, it's completely up to you. It is recommended that you use a whipped cream, but I really love the cream cheese acidy flavor of icing, but I didn't want to use the thickness of cream cheese. I did want it to go a little bit lighter, so instead I used a Greek yogurt, which kind of gives it a runny feel, but it's completely up to you. I didn't really have a lot of heavy cream, so I used half and half, a little bit of sugar, some vanilla, and it turned out great. And then I whipped the crap out of it. It took about 10-15 minutes with my hand mixer on high, and I ended up getting some air into it, but not a whole lot. It's more of a drippy sort of icing. So what you want to do for this part is just completely up to you. You can see from here that it's starting to cream up really nicely. Once the cake is cool, I just cut it in half and went ahead and spread the icing in the middle and then on top. I know that you're supposed to cut off the top of the cake to give it a perfectly even, flat look, which I originally tried, but then I'm like, what's the point of wasting all that extra cake when I can just eat it? No problem. It's just me and my family anyway. To give it a nice look, I just added some sprinkles of cinnamon and a few mint sprigs. And I love the contrast. The cake turned out to be super cute. I just stuck it on a cake stand and it was ready to go. But you guys probably won't believe me until I at least have a slice, right? So watch me eat this cake faster than I've ever eaten a cake before. But first, can we take a look at that mini layer? Ooh, chef's kiss. Okay guys, let me just tell you, this cake is so good. If you like any sort of spice cake, this cake is for you. It is so delicious. This cake also stores super well on the counter or in your freezer for up to 2 months. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this this cake recipe. Just let me know other things that you'd like to see me bake or make throughout the weeks. You can just leave a comment below. If you found this video super helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to share it with a friend or someone who's interested in baking. But I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.